What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Birthright and our last video in the Gods and Priests series here. So we've wrapped up the sort of the major ones for the humans. Now we're taking a look at what they call other powers of Cerilia, which covers some that you would probably be familiar with, and then others most likely not, that are kind of unique to the setting. So the pantheon of the young gods is recognized across the continent, but the human powers are not the only gods known to the peoples of Cerilia. Goblins, Orogs, Gnolls, and other creatures each have their own powers. Now, the Anshailin are even said to secretly swear allegiance to another power even greater than themselves. Dun dun dun, whatever could that be? So, looking first here for the dwarves, you have Moradin, is the legendary creator of dwarves and the chief deity of a mysterious pantheon of dwarven gods. The dwarves don't really speak of their beliefs to outsiders, as in non-dwarves, and they have their religious observances only in the sanctuary of their hidden fortress cities. In fact, the name of Moradin is known outside the dwarven halls only because the dwarves call on him for aid in their battle cries. So again, dwarves in this setting, very much secretive, very not necessarily outright hostile to other humanoid races, so other humans, elves, stuff like that, but certainly distrustful and definitely takes a lot to get on their good side, but really getting sort of full in-depth knowledge as a non-dwarf of their society and stuff like that is going to be pretty tough. Certainly would be an extraordinary event. Now, the Monster Mythology accessory, again, going back to second ed product here, does provide useful information about the Dwarven Pantheon, and they say is suitable for Cerilia. I don't imagine that's changed overly much between the editions, but feel free to build that out however you like. They really do mainly focus on Moradin for this, and you can just incorporate others as needed. Otherwise, consider Dwarven Priests to be standard clerics from the player's handbook, so yeah, no need to overly complicate stuff even further. Moving on, Kartathok is the lord and patron of goblin kind in Cerilia, and like Moradin, he is the head of an entire pantheon of goblin gods. Goblins aren't exactly cautious about concealing the secrets of their religions, but few outside observers have the patience or stomach to learn more than the surface details of goblin beliefs. Kartathok is remarkably similar to the god Maglubiet from the old second ed DMG guide. Priests and shamans play a very important role in goblin society, that's certainly known, and often serve as leaders to goblin warriors. Goblin deities are further described in Monster Mythology, again, another older product, but certainly you can, I think, just easily port whatever your edition is as far as goblinoid mythology. So pretty easy stuff here. Now, a cool thing for the setting, and really where I wish that they would have released and had more time for product releases for the setting, is the aspect of the Cold Rider and how that plays into the Shadow World and other things like that. So, no one denies that a power of darkness is at work in the Shadow World, but the nature of this creature is unclear at best. Mages familiar with the Shadow World refer to this power as the Cold Rider and attribute the restless dead and dangerous spirits of this sinister realm to his enchantments, dire enchantments. Some people believe the Cold Rider is an Anshe, while others believe that he is a god spawned by Azrai's destruction, or could even be Azrai sort of somewhat reincarnating as well, kind of like how it was, in Lord of the Rings, eventually seeing like the necromancer as Sauron, and then eventually finally Sauron himself. But so just something you can use this as like a very fertile ground in however you want to take that. So since they again didn't go fully in depth with where they could have gone with that, but you can gain a little bit of insight in some of the other releases for the setting, and even in I think one of the novels that we'll be covering as well, at least partially. So, but anyway, a lot of cool stuff that you can do there if you're going to be venturing and using the Shadow World a lot in your campaigns. And then finally here, the last little bit, the powers of darkness. So several of Cerilia's darker races have sought patronage from unique Tanari lords. So you have that. These include Yinoghu, the Lord of Gnolls, Baphomet, the Lord of Minotaurs. God, that is a hell of a word there. Kostchichi, patron of the Ice Giants. Someone has an actual pronunciation for that. That would be awesome to throw in the comments. And then other monstrous shamans from these races exist, but are extremely rare. Torazan, the Orog deity, is believed to be a Tanari as well. So you have a lot of fertile grounds there. And again, Birthright doesn't get into a lot of the stuff that you might see in, let's say, like, your typical D&D setting, like, let's say, a Forgotten Realms, um, where travel to the different levels of hell and all that stuff is going to be common. So this would be really Tanari would kind of stand out in the setting as just being as different as they are to normal campaigning in whatever world you're on. So they would certainly stand out if indeed some of these deities that are things that are being worshipped as deities turn out to be Tanari as well, and ever encountering them in the setting in some way, shape, or form would be pretty wild stuff. So, but you have really, again, a fertile ground here to let your imagination run wild with how you want to use that stuff in the setting and being as creative as you want. Now, generally, the world for the Birthright setting of Brennus is kind of considered kind of closed off from all the other planes, more or less. But again, that just depends on what you want to do with the setting, and maybe bring in some of these other planes, like being able to gain access to one of the different levels of hell or other things like that, and incorporating demons of various sorts. So, could make for some potent things as well, and really shake up the balance of some of the other major players, good and bad, in the setting. So let us know your thoughts on some of these other powers of Cerilia and how that's been worked into your campaigns, and how much did you kind of stick to sort of the general guidelines, or did you port in other things from whichever edition or editions that you kind of used to sort of fill out your version of Birthright. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll have more Birthright for you guys soon.